What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Minecraft Unabridged, and we are out here at the new base. We're going to be doing some techie work today here. Not as much building as last episode, but before we jump into all the tech stuff, we are going to be going over some of the building changes that I made off camera. Now, these are all based off your comments from last episode, the feedback you guys gave. Seems like you do really like the way the base is turning out, even though not much was made for the base, but you guys like the whole idea and the color scheme and all that. But you did suggest that I add some glass to the ceiling to open up the room a little bit, and I really like the way it looks. There's black stained glass around these anti-blocks in the ceiling for each quadrant. It looks great, fits the color scheme, so that is tremendous. And the second thing I changed is I dropped this anti-block down one and surrounded it with these wedge slopes, so it's kind of like a spotlight now. I was contemplating doing this when I actually made the ceiling, but I just decided not to, and then one of you guys suggested it, so I thought, you know what, let's do it. And I actually really like the way it looks. It adds some depth to the ceiling too, or more depth than it already has. So other than that, the central room is pretty much the same, but then I did some work out here. So this branches out into the first room that's actually off our central room, and it's pretty much the same block, same color scheme, just a really big open room. And I went and put glowstone in each of these wedge slopes on the top and bottom, so it should be lit up for the most part. No ceiling and no walls yet though, just because most of the walls are going to be machines. Now this is going to be pretty much the central room for the AE system and the machines and everything that's automated. So I went and grabbed all the AE stuff that we have at the old base and moved it over here. It's actually not all of it. The automated inscribers still need to be moved over here and will probably get put right in here. And then the remote orderer still has to be brought over here, and it'll probably just hang out here until I encase it in something. But yeah, so we have the generic system. We got the drive here, both ways of importing it, and then we got the controller so we can branch off. And the power should still be running here fine. We'll move the power system over here eventually, but for now it's fine. We're just going to use the Tesseract. So we got something to work off of, and today I said we're going to be doing mechanism, which is awesome because there's really cool stuff you can do to automate mechanism. And I don't know if I'm going to automate this correctly today, but we're going to be automating Metallurgic Infusers, doing some automatic crafting with those, and I think it's going to be really fun. We're going to do two different ways of automatic crafting. The first is going to be steel, and the second, I can't even think of the name as to what we're going to do, but it's going to be, is it the alloy? Yeah, the enriched alloy. So I'll have another one just set aside so that we can do reinforced alloy and atomic alloy for now, but I'm not going to automate these today. And then if we have some free time, we can do some other mechanism automation. So I'm thinking what we're going to do is branch off from this side of the ME controller, and I want to be able to see all this stuff, even if we don't actually have to access it directly. I want to be able to see it just because I think it'll make the room look really cool. So this kind of window right here is going to be for the automated Metallurgic Infusers, and I went ahead and did all the crafting, so we're not going to have to do any of that on camera. I should have most of the stuff in my inventory right now. So to start off, we're not going to be using any dense cable today, I don't think, or we may have to eventually when we're branching off from this, but today we're only going to need a few channels. So we're going to start branching off from this, and the way I set this up before, it was more vertical, but today we're going to have to make it more horizontal, so I'm going to have to alter the way I set it up a little bit. But first off, we're going to have to add these two interfaces on the top and bottom. So I guess I should just do one to start. So we'll do the bottom one to start, and we'll make the bottom one the alloy one. And it looks like we're going to have to sleep soon. But the reason we have these interfaces right here is to automatically fill these Metallurgic Infusers with the redstone or coal or whatever they might need. And it's just going to keep it full, so whenever we request something, it should just automatically refill it. Now, I don't know if there's a better way to use these to automatically send stuff to the Metallurgic Infuser, but I found that Ender IO conduits seem to work fine. So we're just going to go with we're going to need the energy conduits today, but we're also going to need the item conduits. We should have enough. And we can slap that down on the side of this and then put the Metallurgic Infuser right on that. So I think that can go right here. So we can go sleep right now, and then we can get up and do the rest of this. Only problem about not having a roof is that it's going to get dark in there and just look a little weird if we don't sleep, so I'll make sure it's always daytime. Okay, so the bottom one's going to be easy because it only has to go through one set of processing really. It's pretty much just Metallurgic Infuser and then done. but the top one is going to be more difficult because it's got to go through 2 infusers and then it has to go through a smelter. So bottom one is easy. We just got to go into this interface. We actually got to get some redstone. We're going to need some coal too, but we can get redstone for now. Only got to worry about this bottom one and put it down right there. And then we should change the settings on the back of this so that it is always extracting and always inserting into this. And then we just have to change this setting. I think this, whoops, this needs to be purple again. Actually, which setting is the back? I don't even know which one the back is. So we're gonna flip these to purple until it works. No. Whoops. Okay, so maybe this one's the back. Yeah, okay, so that one's the back. I never know which one those are. Okay, so this one's the back, so you can see it's going to keep filling this up and keep filling this up and keep pulling stuff out until it can't pull any more redstone out and put it in here. So this will get 64 in it, and then it'll have the full 1000 redstone in the side. And then whenever we use any, it'll automatically pull them out again. And you can set this up. I think you can put stacks in here too, but there's no reason to right now. You only need one at a time. This should be more than fast enough for pretty much any automation you have. And I will add upgrades to these later. We don't need to add them now. So then once this is done, obviously we just have to pull it out of here. It's really easy. We can do auto eject, and we can change this side one to just be blue. And there's a couple different things. First off, we're going to have to actually set up the interface too. So I guess we should do that before we start exporting stuff. So I'm trying to think of the best way to actually do this. If we want to be able to see it over here, I guess we can just pull this over and then put the interface here and then cover this up with like a cover facade or whatever we want to use for it. But we can grab the ME interface again, and this one actually needs to be made into the ME interface like this. I don't even know what to call it, but we want it like this, and we're actually going to be using a pattern for this one. So we come over here, we're going to need 2 patterns today. We're going to need one for the steel and one for the enriched alloy. So I think I should have an alloy in here, and this one is not going to be a crafting pattern, it's just going to be a processing pattern. And to do this, we're going to need 1 iron. So we're not going to have to request the redstone at all, it's automatically going to fill that up. So we're going to just make this pattern, bring it over here, and slap it down in here. Now I do have a 1K crafting storage I grabbed from the base, but eventually we're going to have to add some more of these just because we might want to process a couple more things than just one thing. So for now, I can just throw this down. I guess we can throw it down right here. Doesn't really matter where it goes. Wherever we have some open channels. Not really great for crafting, but we don't use crafting that much right now, so it should be okay. And then if we come in here, I think we should be able to request it. Yeah, so we took all our alloys out. We should be able to request this alloy. If we want to request 1, we can start, and it should drop it over here. Oh, no, wait, we need to set the top to the input, and then it should go. Okay, so this one goes. I think this one might actually have upgrades in it. Yeah, so it's already got upgrades in it, and it used some of the power that it already has. Eventually we will hook these up to the Tesseract over here to get power, but now what we have to do is take these item conduits and run them along the side of this. Whoops, so hard to shift click this when you're in the air. Okay, so we're going to run them along the side of this, and we're going to collect it at a chest over here. Gonna let it attach me to these. Okay. So I guess we can collect it at a chest right here, maybe. It's where the top and the bottom are going to meet, and it's just going to be one collective chest that gets put back into our system so that we only use 1 channel. So I think the bottom for the most part should be done other than connecting it to power, but first I want to get the top done just so that we can make sure that everything is going to be able to be wired correctly and nothing should be interfering with anything else. So we can get rid of the redstone now. We don't actually need that again. We're going to need coal for this next one. And eventually I may switch it to actually be some charcoal. I think you can probably use charcoal. I'm not sure though, actually. If you can use charcoal, I might change it to that just so that we can use the wood from our wood farm to fuel this. But for now, we'll just use coal. And like I said, I don't even know if you can use charcoal. But so we'll do the same thing, put 1 coal in there. You could put more, but we're not going to. And you could probably make this more effective by using these interfaces to do the patterns for the infuser too. But it's whatever. It's fine for now. Like I said, this is not probably going to be the most effective way to do this, but it works and it gets the job done fine and it looks cool, so that's what we're going for here. So we're going to do the same thing, pretty much Metallurgic Infuser up here. We're going to need this interface, and we're going to have to throw that right there. And this is where the pattern is going to go again, so we can make that right now. And instead of being the enriched alloy, we're going to get steel. So hopefully I have some steel laying around here. Yes, I do. This is the railcraft steel is the issue. So eventually we can set this to the pattern right now, but eventually we're going to want to get back mechanism steel, because that's what it's going to get. I think it's just based on how I smelted it initially is why I got the railcraft steel. But we're going to throw that into here, and then up here we need to put the coal in. We already did that, so now we got to put the item conduit in. Oh my gosh, we're falling. Trying to shift click in the air, boys. It's rough. Okay, and same thing over here. We got to put it to insert, and then change this. Now I actually know that that's the infuse side, so bam, you can see the coal is going in there. And now this time we're going to have to take this next metallurgic infuser and put it directly next to this, and we're going to have to set this one's input to be on the bottom, and nothing on this side right here. Whoops. And then this one, well, I don't know why I flipped over that. This one needs to be output too. And then this one needs to have the input on the side, and then we want it to have purple on that again, because we have to put coal in this one too. So this one's going to have to get filled up twice, or the coal is going to have to fill two things up. So this one's going to be insert 2, and coal will fill that up now. And like I said, this should be fast enough to fill both up still and keep everything going smoothly. So I don't think we need to connect anything to the bottom of this, but after this we actually need to put what's going to smelt it. So I think we're just going to use, I have these factories, but that's not what we're actually going to use. We're going to use just the Energized Smelter, because it's only going to be one thing that's being smelted. We're not going to have multiple types being smelted. So then this one needs to have the input there again, nothing on the top or bottom, and output again on the side. And I actually forgot to flip auto eject on all of these. And this one, flip it on, and that should be good. And now we have to bring the item conduits over here, and we're gonna have to have a chest right here, which is gonna get all the stuff. So let's see if we have an extra chest in here. We do. We have an iron chest, nice. And that can just get slapped down right there, and both sides can get put to input or insert, and this can go to insert right there. And then what we're gonna do is take an import bus and slap it on the side of this, and then use the smart cables all along the bottom again and connect it back to this. And I think that should connect it back to our system perfectly fine. So it should suck everything that gets put in here out. We don't have to add any filter or anything, because everything that goes in here is going to be the final product. And I think that should be good, aside from adding power to all of these. So we can just come over here, and this is going to be a little bit of a waste of cable. I love how it looks from out here. Once we enclose this fully, it'll just be all these, mechanism things and applied energistics things hanging out here. But this should be getting a power, and we should be able to just pull the conduit off of this, and it's going to have to go attached to this. Whoops. This is going to be rough to click on all these. It's going to have to be connected to that, to this, and to that, and then connected out. And we're going to have to bring it all the way down here too, and just connect this down. Okay, so these should all have power now, and they won't have upgrades yet. I do have extra upgrades to throw in them, but they should be good to go, I think, assuming nothing got screwed up. We're going to have to use the pattern on this one to get the railcraft steel real quick, and then we're going to have to cycle through it and then swap out the pattern to actually get the mechanism steel. But we should be able to go through and go to steel, middle click on it, go to 10, and oh, you know what, is this one still backed up from the last one? Yeah, okay, so this one's backed up just because this didn't have anywhere to go. I guess that needs to be changed, and this one probably does too. Yeah, and then they should go in here and get automatically sucked out and put back in the machine. So now everything should work. I'm still getting messed up on these terminals because I think they're flipped from when we were at our base. But we can go to steel, click on that, go to 10, next, start that. And these are going to be going really slow. I do have to get the upgrades out of here. So I should have a lot. Whoops, can't type. Okay, so we're going to need a full stack of those, and another full stack, and then a full stack of this, another full stack. And I don't know if we want to upgrade the smelter. You know what, I guess we can, because why not? Oh, those are so loud. I forgot mechanism things are really loud. I guess I have to go into my config file again and change that. but we can add the speed on this one for now, speed on this one, and speed on this. And then go back through and add the energy on each one once they finish. But this should get put right into here, and then it should get sucked out. And if we look at this, it should start going down eventually. Oh, you know what? It's not going to start going down just because this is outputting the mechanism steel. So we're going to have to go and cancel this job once it's done. So yeah, everything should be input in there. We can go and throw these upgrades in, the energy ones. And then we got to change the pattern so that it actually registers that it finished. So everything should be out of there. Yes, it is. Got to go in here, cancel this, grab the pattern out of here, and we got a recoder. Oh, flipping them over again. Okay, whoops, that's not where we want it. We want it right here. Wonder if we should just make it a blank pattern real quick. And got to grab the other steel. So we want the mechanism steel, and should encode that, and it should be good. There we go. So this setup should be good, and now all I have to do is just add the covers to block everything out. But I actually kind of like the way this looks. It looks really cool. Obviously, I don't want to be able to see the sunset in the back every time, even though that might be nice. But yeah, so I guess we can go get some covers and see how I want to cover this up. We should have a saw in here, and I'm probably just going to use these, can't even think of the name right now. They're Z-tone blocks. Starts with a K. Right here, Corp. I keep forgetting. It's such a random name. And then we should have a saw in here. Be able to cut some of these up. I don't know how many we're actually going to need. And I think we need to get them all the way down to covers. That's the thinnest they can go. Let's see if this works. Shift click it. Okay, so it doesn't work on the Ender IO ones, but I think it does work on these. So we're going to have to actually add, we're going to have to use the painter to paint over the Ender IO ones, but that is fine. And then we'll leave these up there, and I might cover around them just so we can't see behind them. But yeah, so we'll have to cover these Ender IO ones up. And then over here, we can throw some blocks down around this just so that you can't see past it. So you can do that. And this, and then we're gonna have the same issue here where we got to add the covers. So I think I should be able to add them on the sides of these, no problem. But I think before we said we had the issue with cutting off certain portions of the network, so we have to use these just to be careful. So I said last time, like this block right here would cut through the connection in the AE network, which would not be good. That's not what we want. So man, placing these is really difficult. Okay. But I think this should look pretty cool. It'll be like the main command post for this room. Ugh, I can't place it down. It doesn't want to turn correctly. I don't get it, guys. How do I get this to position itself correctly? Someone teach me how to use micro blocks. There we go. Okay, so this one's working. This one's not giving me any trouble. I think it's just that I don't have the right point of view to get this bottom one to work. Yeah, it doesn't want to work. So we'll leave this one for now. I'll get that later. But I do really like the way that looks. And then over here, we'll do the same thing. You'll be able to see some of it. But you guys should let me know what you think. If there's a better way to optimize this, feel free to let me know. Obviously, I'm not worried too much about crafting stuff. Like if one of these interfaces could be working instead of two, that's fine. Obviously, I'm not saying that this is the best way to do it, but it does work. It gets the job done. I think it's cool automating stuff like this with applied energistics kind of intermingling with other mods. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, feel free to give it a like. And also, I just wanted to say before we go that Thanksgiving break is coming up. I'm going to be leaving my desktop at college when I go home for like 9 days. So I'm going to try to backlog a couple videos. I know I don't upload super regularly right now, but there might only be like 1 or 2 videos that go up over Thanksgiving break. Also, that's why some videos are kind of spaced out now, is because I'm trying to use my time to create a backlog for Thanksgiving break. So there are some videos going up while I'm gone. But that is why. I hope you guys don't mind. But like I said, if you did enjoy today's video, feel free to give it a like, and I will talk to you guys later.